Happy Craft Summit Week, everybody. We are so glad you're here. And I have to say, this is my favorite time of fall when we get to craft all these beautiful things.
Yes, they are just beautiful flowers and leaves and all the warm fall colors.
Yes, which are so on trend right now. And I love that we're making things that we can incorporate, into our homes for fall and also give as gifts this week. Yeah. So there's just a lot of fun little goodies. And today, I think this has probably been one of the most popular flowers that people have been responding to, which is funny. I just told Megan, I said, I don't think I've ever been so excited about a marigold in my life. But they're so beautiful, and the technique that you use to color these petals. And you're going to show us a new technique for the leaves.
Yes. Yep.
So you guys will want to stick around and see that. Yes, and remember, you can always watch the replay. If you just want to watch along today rather than make along with us, you can go back and review. And of course, Megan did put up the tutorial already.
Yes,
so
the tutorial is there for you.
Okay. All right, let's get started. Oh, wait, sorry, one more thing. As usual, for those of you who do come to our member makes, we have Emily back here, and she's going to be answering or posting your questions or calling out your questions. That's the beauty about being on a live, is you get to ask us in real time and we can answer them. So go ahead, and I'm going to turn it over to Emily there.
Hello. So if anybody has any questions related to this project, go ahead and click the Ask button down at the bottom, and that will send it over to me so I can put it on the screen, and I will ask our creators over here.
Yes. Remember, if you put it in the Ask, she's more likely to see it. If you put it in the comments, sometimes there's so many comments going on that they do get missed. So if you find that she's not answering it or calling it out, go ahead and put it in the Ask. Okay. All right. What are we going to use today?
Yeah, let's get started with our materials and tools. So for our crepe paper colors, we are going to be using the mango for our petals and cypress for our leaves. So very easy and simple.
It is.
For our wires, we will be using the thick stem wire and 18 gauge wire. You only need the 18 gauge wire if you want to put your leaves on a separate wire.
Okay, good to know.
And then a 24 gauge wire for your leaves.
Okay.
And all green. And then we'll be using a couple marker colors. So we're using the Karin brand and amber and wood rose.
Right, and you can use an alcohol marker. These are water-based.
Yep.
You can use an alcohol marker in similar colors.
Yeah, so this is just going to be a darker orange and then just like a really warm, like light brown.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, and then we are going to be using art glitter glue and some hot glue as well. I would recommend that you have the thin, like the detail tip for your hot glue gun, for this project specifically.
Okay.
And then for tools, we'll be using, you're going to need wire cutters, scissors. So I just have the detail scissors and the larger scissors here. You could use either one for this. We did cut everything on a cutting machine personally. And then let's see, I also have some needle nose tweezers, and I just use these to take the petals and the leaves off of my cutting mat because they are smaller.
They are, and we talk about that in our Cricut video. If you guys have not watched it, I highly recommend. If you haven't seen our Cricut skill course, please go watch it. I know I send a lot of people who comment over to that course. It's really helpful to learn our tips on using the cutting machine.
Yeah. And then we have switching screens on me. And then we have our template here. Very simple. Just make sure you're following these grain lines for everything and the amount you need.
And I definitely think that those leaves are probably cutting machine worthy.
Yes, yeah. If you're cutting them by hand, you could just leave out the notches and they would still be beautiful. All right.
And also, just because we also have a silhouette class that Kelly did. Yeah. I'm hoping Kelly's here. She usually is. Hi, Kelly, if you're here. So we also have a silhouette class that matches the Cricut class. Don't want to leave that out for those of you who love your silhouette.
All right, just going to move some stuff out of the way. So we're going to start with coloring our petals first. So you're going to take your markers, and I'm going to show you a nice trick for coloring these petals because they are so small. So I left if you're cutting on a cutting machine, this is a good tip. I left my petals on the mat. So like I peeled away the excess crepe and left all of my petals stuck to the mat for while I was coloring.
And you can leave the excess crepe on while you color as well.
You can, it's just a little hard to see
Sure.
exactly where the
Good
petals
point.
are. But this is just really nice because you can just move right along without them moving around and having to hold them. So for coloring these, you might want to put like a piece of paper down between you and the
plastic,
mat.
the plastic.
Or the plastic. So for coloring these, we're going to just draw a line right up at the top, and we're going to color below that line. So we're just leaving a thin strip at the top of your petal uncolored. And yeah, you have a couple there that you can do.
And I have some that are off the mat.
Yeah, off the mat, because you can do it off the mat. I just found this to be much quicker because we're using extra fine crepe paper and these water-based markers. The crepe paper does get a little soggy and flimsy.
Can I use your tweezers?
Oh,
so
yeah.
the way that I would do it if if it's off the mat is just use the tweezer to hold. That makes it a bit easier than trying to use your fingers. So that's just my little trick. And then I like to use the real broad side of the marker, kind of at a deep angle, so that it's just a couple of swooshes and you can get it colored. So this isn't too bad, but this is much easier.
Yeah, this is just super quick. You can move across. And once you've colored that, you can take your wood rose marker, and we're just gonna add a couple strokes from the base of the petal up. Just some little wispy strokes to add some more dimension to this color.
And we have just changed the color of that crepe paper.
Yep.
I love it.
Go. And then if you're doing it on the mat, you are going to want to, I would suggest waiting until that marker dries before you peel these off, because the crepe paper is
Soggy.
a little bit soggy and could tear when you go to pull it off
You can
if you're
see
not
how
careful.
Soggy it is here, you guys. It's starting to crinkle. You can see that, which is great. I love it because you want that texture, so it doesn't really matter, but you do want it to dry.
Yep.
So I'm going to set them aside. All right, what's next?
Perfect. I'll set this aside so those can dry. So next we are going to take our small petals. So let's just start with one. You're going to go ahead and twist it between your fingers, just in opposite directions. And then we're going to untwist it, and this is just going to give it a little bit of texture.
So remind me, how many, there's two different sizes?
Yes,
Okay.
there are small and large, and you should have 25 small and 30 large.
Okay.
So we're going to take this one petal and our thick stem wire.
Are these
And a
small
little
and
bit
these
of
are
glue.
large?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And the ones you just colored are
Are
large.
large.
Yeah.
Just had to sort out
Yeah.
our own piles here.
So I'm going to add some glue to about 3/4 of the petal. Gotta get my glue going, because we are going to wrap this petal around the tip of our wire, and this is just going to kind of disguise our wire so we don't see it. And I'm just really wrapping it around, and only about 1/4 of that petal is above the tip of my wire.
Okay.
And then you can set that aside for a little bit, and we're gonna go ahead and shape some of our small petals. So you're gonna go ahead and take 8 small petals to start with. And you're gonna go ahead and do that same thing that we did with that last petal and twist them. And then we actually are not going to open them back up. You're gonna kind of leave them. You can open them back up a little bit and then lightly roll them again. You don't want them super tight, but we're gonna leave them twisted up just like this. And I've left the tip of my petal just slightly open so that it appears just like the one that you've already wrapped around your wire. So we're just kind of rolling them between our fingers.
An 8.
Yep, 8 of them.
Okay.
And these are gonna make the center of our flower.
All right, we have a question from
Yeah.
Joanne,
Mm-hmm.
and she's wondering, did you paint the small petals too?
Yes, all of the petals are colored exactly the same. All right, once you've rolled those, you're gonna go ahead and take your stem wire and your glue, and I'm gonna add glue to my stem wire. Just down to where the bottom of that first petal is. Just a nice line. And I'm going to go ahead and start by adding a petal. And you're just going to make it even with the top of that first petal you added. And so we are going to add all of these 8 small petals around the stem wire. So I'm just going to do a line of glue for each as I add. This is a good place you can use those tweezers here if you like to add them to avoid getting glue all over your fingers.
Mm-hmm. I felt like my tips were flared too much, so I'm just rolling them between my fingers to
If they're more
tighten
flared,
them
then
up.
it's just a little bit
More
open.
A reminder for everybody too, we will need to stop shipping art glitter glue here pretty soon because it is hitting winter. As you can tell, we're wearing sweaters today. So, although it is it's shipped out of Indiana, but if you want your art glitter glue for the winter, make sure you order it ASAP.
And you will get to a point where you've covered the gone around all the way, and you'll still have a few petals left, but just go ahead and add them in. Just looking where maybe there's a gap or just anywhere you feel like it's needed. But they should be squeezed in there pretty tight. Right, and once they're all added, I'm gonna kind of pinch around them just to compress everything onto the wire. And this will just really make sure they're all stuck on there. Kind of that crepe paper gets soggy and it kind of all just mushes together.
Excuse me.
So I'm just rolling it between my fingers. All right, and this is what it looks like once you've added those 8 petals.
Mine lined up really nicely all the way around.
Nice. That's perfect. All right, and so we're gonna go ahead and set this aside, and we are going to take 8 more small petals. And we are gonna shape them the same way, except we're gonna leave the top of the petals flared open a little bit more. All right, so we have 8 petals here, and you're gonna go ahead and twist them between your fingers. And I'm gonna twist these all the way, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and open just the tops of the petals back up. So I'll untwist a little bit. Get those tips open. I'm gonna do a little extra and take between my fingers and kind of pull in different directions to help just give even more shape and wave to the tips of those petals. So they're going to be open about, if you guys can see that.
So a little fan on the tip.
Yeah, just a little fan. And you'll shape all 8 petals like that. So I'm twisting and then opening the top back up. And even stretching the edge of the crepe paper just to give it a little bit more wave and texture. Are very small petals to work with, so getting getting a specific shape out of them can be a little tedious. I do think these flowers ended up taking me a bit longer to make than I expected them to.
Lots of tiny
when I was
petals.
making them, yeah.
Yep.
So I was searching for quicker ways to do it, which is how I ended up coloring on the mat.
Yes, yeah. Time saving.
Saved me some time. And also,
I feel like, it does take a little extra time, but it's really simple.
It is, yeah.
You always do such a good job taking a flower that looks incredibly complex and making it easy for anyone to make.
Oh, yeah.
Even
if you
a beginner.
Have some patience and just really some time to work on it. They're not too difficult.
It's kind of like knitting a sweater. It just takes time. Of which I've never knit a sweater.
Yeah, I've never knitted a sweater. I've done a scarf, but
I bet you some of these people watching have made a sweater. Okay. 8.
Perfect. So now we're just gonna go ahead and add those around in the same way. I just my glue is leaking.
You don't have your metal tip on?
I don't know. The one I had was a little clogged, so I just left it. Okay, so when we go to add these on, we're gonna add them on just very slightly higher than the center.
Okay.
Just a tiny bit higher. And if you are cutting these on the Cricut, the file is set up so it does cut you enough petals for 2 flowers all on one sheet.
That's good to know.
Which makes it very
I feel like these
quick.
they're also a very cost-effective flower because they don't take a lot of crepe paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's one color and they have a huge bang for the buck.
Yeah.
I guess I would say a lot of punch for a little tiny flower.
All that detail.
All the detail.
Yeah, the detail and the color, that combination. I can think of so many different ways to use these too.
I love them because they're very Halloween-y, but also they last into through November. I feel like just.
Oh, totally. And of course, different cultures use them in different ways, and so.
And then again, once I've added all 8 petals, I'm gonna just kind of roll it between my fingers to compress all that crepe paper so that it isn't getting too bulky. And we'll end up with this really nice taper kind of down onto the stem.
It's like molding this crepe paper with the glue. Nice.
Right, and then you should have about 8 small petals left, and we're going to take those. And these we're going to twist them and open them all the way back up. And then up on that top edge, just pull the crepe paper in opposite directions with your finger to just give it a nice rippled edge. You can do that in 1 or 2 spots on the edge.
Okay.
More.
So I want to hear from our viewers here, what are you going to use your marigolds for? For fun, just making a few to see if you can make them, or are you planning to use them for Halloween or fall? I guess Halloween's in a week or so, isn't it?
It is. It's 2 weeks, week and a half. And I was thinking about wanting to go out trick-or-treating this year, and
With Emmylou,
yeah, taking my daughter, but it's so hard when they're young. And the weather here is so unpredictable.
Yeah. So rainy.
It ends up being, I feel like more often than not, it is just really wet on Halloween.
Yep. That's where maybe an indoor mall Halloween might be a good idea.
So sad.
I know. You can't enjoy the beautiful. Yeah.
All right, once you have twisted all of those, go ahead and add them evenly around your flower. And again, we're gonna add these on just ever so slightly higher than the previous round of petals.
Okay.
And when I say, I really mean just like barely higher.
Sure.
Or just
a nudge higher.
Yeah. I don't even know if I could measure the amount.
My favorite thing about this flower is seeing the color variation. When you look down on it, you can see that marker. It just looks so pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't, when I first looked at him, I'm like, okay, did she darken base or did she lighten the tips? So it's fun to see. Maybe takes a little bit of nimble fingers, but other than that, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Like I said, you can always use those tweezers to grab your petals and attach them. Because you do get a bit of glue on your fingers while making these.
Mm-hmm. Emily, anyone telling us what they're using these flowers for?
We've got a display vase from 2 people.
Okay, I love
which
it.
I think is a nice idea.
Yeah.
I know these marigolds are kind of popular for Indian celebrations, right?
Yep. Yeah, and I would also say
and
Mexican as well.
Yeah, they're used a lot for Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. I won't even attempt to say that.
I know. I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't.
Not on video. We don't want to destroy the proper pronunciation.
All right, so once I've added all of these petals, I'm again kind of rolling it between my fingers, compressing that base. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and look down at my flower and just kind of pull and arrange the petals while the glue is still a little wet. Just make sure everything's looking even.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be perfect. This flower is definitely not something you need to worry about being symmetrical and perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want any glaring holes anywhere or lopsidedness. But I think it's looking pretty good so far. And then we are going to move on to our larger petals. I'm going to go ahead and take mine off my mat. Can I have those tweezers again, please?
Are they dry now? They dry pretty fast?
Yeah,
okay.
they dry quickly. So yeah, I'm just going to use my tweezers to take these off.
Yeah.
And then when we go to shape these, we're going to shape them in the same way we just shaped our last round of small petals. Just twisting them to give them that nice texture, and then untwisting them and ruffling the edges. I also like that when you twist these, the edges, like, they kind of roll in, and you can leave that. You don't need to untwist everything all the way.
Sure.
Even the bases, you can kind of just let them stay a little twisted because you aren't going to see those.
Even Enzo has a sweater on today. It's pouring rain outside in Portland, Oregon. Go figure.
It is. I got myself soaking wet coming in because I had to use my rain jacket to cover the projects.
Yeah. Save the projects. Who cares about the hair?
I was like, well, it'll be fine.
I think our viewers care more about the projects.
I know,
Megan.
same. It was these petals because they were all on the mat. I was like, oh no. I didn't want them to get water spots all over them. All right, so I did pre-shape all of our large petals since there are
Quite a
30 of them.
Yeah, but it's
Didn't want to
fast.
sit here.
Yeah.
It is fast.
But you don't want to watch us
You
do
don't
it.
want to watch me do 30 more of those.
Yeah.
All the same. So we're gonna go ahead and add these, and I will pay attention as I add this round to see how many petals I put on, but I don't think it's important that you get an even amount in each round. Just make sure you're looking down at taking a look from the top of your flower to make sure everything is even and not getting too lopsided.
And are you pulling it out just a little bit more?
Yes, we are going to go just slightly higher again.
Slightly higher.
Slightly higher. With these, since these are larger petals, actually, the bases, for like a good measurement for you guys, the bases can just line up with where the base of your flower, all of your petals already are.
I see that. Yeah. That's good.
So should
That makes it nice and easy.
be perfect height that way. I'm curious if anyone is joining us for any of our other videos this week.
Yes.
Like, are you planning on making any of the other projects?
I would love to hear that too. I'm excited that we're doing the watercolor, paper cut artwork. That one, I think everybody should pop in and at least watch it, even if you don't make it, because it's a fun adventure to play with watercolor.
It is, and it's definitely a lot different than making paper flowers.
It is,
and
yeah.
Makes a nice piece of framed art.
And it's quite easy.
It is. Yeah. And of course, we have our final crepe paper project on Friday, which is the, what is it? The
Virginia Creeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a beautiful fall branch.
And it's beautiful just by itself. It doesn't even need, you can stick it in a vase and it's a piece of art. So yeah, Emily, call out if people are answering that question.
I will, yeah. Projects in course Virginia Creeper on Friday. Yay. Carol, can't wait for you to join us for the felt owl.
Yes, the felt owl.
And yes, a lot of people are very excited for the Virginia Creeper.
Good.
I'm personally very excited to show you guys the layered art live. I love watercoloring. That's my favorite. So we're doing that on Wednesday? Or
I can't remember.
I know we should have
Just
a
come
schedule
every
in
day.
front of us.
Yeah, just come every day. It's going to be super fun. You're going to love everyone. Even if you don't make them with us, you might be inspired
Yeah.
to make them later or give you an idea for a gift for Christmas.
Yes, that will be Thursday. The felt owls are Wednesday. And tomorrow we're doing artichokes,
Artichokes.
which I've been prepping all morning. And gosh, there are a lot of small pieces.
Don't tell them that. No, that's fun. I'm kidding. Of course, artichokes have a lot of small pieces.
Yes.
Boink. I wish they'd make these glue tubes wider so they don't tip over.
Yeah, somebody emailed us and suggested this glue gun. It's basically like a glue gun, but you put a glue bottle in it.
Oh.
And
Interesting.
I keep thinking about it.
Well, yeah, maybe we should order one and try it out. I swear we find the best things from our members. So
Yes.
please always share. You know, we only have, we're busy here crafting. We can't be out hunting. Well, sometimes we do, but you know what I mean. More eyes are better.
Be careful with the amount of glue you are using to attach these petals because
It gets
since
soggy.
there is 30 of them, it's gonna get pretty soggy.
Yep. This is pretty fun though. Just, you know,
It is,
I keep
yeah.
looking
There's
to make
no
sure. And as they curl differently, they might need different laying, you know,
Yeah.
how you lay them in.
Yep.
When I was in Florence a couple weeks ago, one of my favorite displays that I saw in a window were these ginormous flowers that were on a stem. They were kind of
Mhm.
dropping flowers. And then the mannequin was kind of looking into the flower center.
Pretty. What was the flower made of?
Oh, I can't tell. I mean, they were pretty big, so
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. They weren't paper.
They
I'll
weren't
tell you
paper.
that.
Oh, okay.
But it was a beautiful, beautiful display.
I know I love seeing those like intricate window displays. We don't get them here in Portland anymore, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
Of course, I ran into a handmade paper shop.
oh yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And they did a lot of layered paper art, so images of architecture in layered paper, three-dimensional. It was beautiful. Took lots of photos, lots of inspiration. Any other comments on how people will be using these, Emily?
Let's see. Got to scroll back up. We did, this one sounds really interesting. Adding them to a wreath with plum sunflowers, smoke bush,
Oh.
the Rip City dahlia, and felt ferns.
Oh yeah, that sounds gorgeous.
And
Pretty.
then adding them to a pumpkin bowl for flower display, which I love that idea.
I love that idea too. I love using a pumpkin as a vase, as a container.
And Kelly says, this flower seems like it would be a good one to assemble while watching TV.
Yeah, because
Repetition.
there's no hot glue or scissors to
Yeah.
to stab yourself. No, it would
Right.
be. Yes, this would be a good one. Or, you know, as I always like to say, or listening to an Audible
Mm-hmm.
or podcast.
All right, now that I'm down to my last couple, I'm like really looking to see where
Mm-hmm.
I might need some petals. Maybe right here.
Doing great. I'm curious to know if anybody's sitting there making them with us today.
Yeah, let us know if you're crafting along or if you're just watching and you're going to make this later.
All right, now that I've added all of my petals, I'm again compressing, just very lightly tapping instead of rolling because it is soggy and sticky, but you just really want to get everything flat and attached the best you can.
I feel like, even though these are extra fine crepe paper, they're really strong flowers, and I can see using them again and again.
Yeah.
Using them. So I love to use a flower in arrangement, pull it out, use it in a different arrangement.
Yes, yeah. After you've added all your petals, you can go ahead and take your sepal. So you have this nice strip here, and I'm going to go ahead and add glue just to half of it to start. So there should be 8 little points. And I'm trying to think what these are called. The divots down should be even with about like where your glue stops on your flower. So let me wrap it around and I can show you a bit better the placement.
So it actually
that's
flares
about high.
It flares with the flare.
Yep, it flares out with the flower. So you want to place that high enough up that it's flaring out. And this is going to wrap around twice. So 4 of them will wrap around once. And then the next 4, you're going to kind of stretch it around so that each point sits between the first round. The first set of them. So I'm just going to kind of stretch and put the first one in the center. So they should just perfectly align without stretching too much. Then you just have a nice layered sepals. Oop.
Okay. Molly is wondering if you could tell us the number on the marker.
Yes. It is 195. That's the amber. And then the rosewood is 272.
And if you have alcohol markers at home, you can experiment to try to get something that gives you kind of a similar look. Feel free to just experiment a little bit on your scrap paper.
Yeah. So next we're going to go ahead and cut some strips of the cypress just to go ahead and wrap our stem. So just gonna cut some for both of us.
Thank you.
Quite a few people are crafting along, but it is Darlene's birthday today. So happy birthday, Darlene.
Happy birthday. Yeah. Megan just had a birthday last week.
I did. All right, I'm going to start this wrap over the sepal.
I think this is the perfect thing to be doing on your birthday.
Yeah.
Making flowers. This is such a happy flower.
Mm-hmm. It really is. I hate that. I made them almost long enough.
Here, he says.
It's just a little short.
I'm still going on petals, so I'm a little slower today. But it looks beautiful. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it.
When wrapping with this color crepe paper on the stems, I do like doing 2 layers because it is a lighter color. I just feel like you can see the glue seeps through it sometimes.
Yeah,
we'll get some like darker marks. Cut a bit more.
Did everybody hear what she said?
Oh yeah, sorry if I said that quiet. I like wrapping the stem twice when using this cypress colored crepe because it is a lighter color, and so sometimes you can see where the glue has kind of seeped through, and it makes the crepe paper darker just because you can see the darker green stem through it. But if you wrap it one more time, you shouldn't have that problem.
Can you throw that to me and I'll...
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, you do.
Yeah. There's plenty now.
Did you grow any marigolds this year?
No, I did not. All right. Once you've finished, I would recommend letting the glue on this flower dry a little bit before fluffing the flower out. So could you just hand me one of those? You're just going to want to take your petals and with your fingers really just get in there and fluff them up and bring some of the petals so they hang down a little bit below the sepal. Just give them a little bit more body. Just like that.
And it's done.
Yeah, and then it's, your flower is done. So you can leave them a little more compressed like this if you like, or you can open them up more. And then for our leaves, you're gonna take, there should be a small leaf and a large leaf just to have some variation. And you'll make both of them exactly the same way. But you're gonna take your 24 gauge wire, and I just like to cut it in half. These ones. And I'm going to work with my larger leaf just because it's a little bit easier to work with. And you'll draw a thin line of glue just from the base of the top leaf down the stem. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and lay our wire in the glue, and then we're going to go ahead and fold the leaf over the wire so that that center stem of the leaf, just fold it in half and really compress it and make sure it's attached. And then you can go ahead and open the leaf back up and lay it down, and you can kind of just push those leaves back open and really just wrap that crepe paper around the wire so that it's a little more round and not flat, because you just folded that crepe paper over the wire, so it's going to be like a flat,
and it really makes the stem
down.
Yeah,
and so now you're kind of pressing that crepe paper around the wire so it's more wrapped around the wire than folded as you're opening those leaves up. Right.
Can anybody hear Enzo snoring?
I know.
I was wondering the same thing.
Little doggy snores.
He's so sleepy.
He's an old man.
He's an old Italian man.
All right, so go ahead and lay that leaf flat down on the table, and this is the new technique. So you can see these leaves are pretty floppy. They don't like sit out stiff and straight like you'd really want them to. They look kind of sad, like they didn't get enough water.
We don't want that.
No, so we're gonna go ahead and lay these flat on the table. We're gonna go ahead and take our hot glue. Make sure mine is on. And I'm gonna do like a little tester. Let's see, make sure. I need more
Helps to
hot
have
glue
glue
in there. There was one, it just wasn't quite enough. I think this might be a new hot glue gun.
Looks new.
Yeah.
Is it on?
It is on. It's just like feeding it down through because it's the first glue stick. There we go. All right. I'm going to drag just a line of hot glue from the stem or from that center wire all the way up the leaf, the center of each leaf, and almost to the tip.
That's why you need this fine point.
Yeah. And you may need to practice this a little bit on a piece of paper beforehand just to find the pressure you need. You can do it up the center of that top leaf as well.
The nice thing about the hot glue is it kind of puddles evenly because it's warm.
It does, yeah. The only thing that's a bummer about this, you got to deal with your hot glue strings. But I love this technique for strengthening the crepe paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is great because we're going right across those grains.
Mm-hmm.
So it will keep the grain from stretching. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, another good place to use those tweezers. Just kind of grab your hot glue strings. And then you'll just let that dry. And it dries pretty quick because it's such a small little bit.
Yeah.
And now,
This could be a great technique for a lot of different
mm-hmm.
crepe paper leaves that you need to strengthen.
Yeah, and now you have much stronger leaves that don't flop over so much. And they still have some movement, so they're not stiff,
Mm-hmm.
but just need to cut off some glue that went over the edge.
Did you make this up?
I did.
I love it. I love it.
I was like, I made these leaves and I'm like, they're the perfect leaf shape for these, but they're so sad. And doing two pieces and at the angle and trying to glue them together, it was just too small. And this worked a lot better. So, and this is the underside of the leaf, so you won't, it's okay if you see it a little bit, because
it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it naturally, leaves have that center line. So, yeah.
What do you guys think? I'd love to hear. Yeah.
Molly says, you're so innovative. Make it.
I know
Thank you.
she is.
And then you can add these leaves to your flower stem if you like, or what we did,
There you go.
or what I did for these is I just added a few to their own 18 gauge wire and wrapped it with crepe paper. And this just makes it easier when you're arranging.
Yeah, this is how I prefer them.
Yeah.
Because even with flower arranging with real flowers, fresh flowers, you
take
always
all the
remove the leaves off
Yep.
anyway. So this gives us the beautiful leaves.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it. All right, is that it?
Done. That's it.
Okay. Wow, that was fast.
It was. It
Time
was
flew.
exactly an hour.
Yeah, and I
It was perfect.
well, it was 50 minutes, but yes. But I feel like, is that clock right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
Again, such a gorgeous flower, and it was relatively simple
Yeah.
to make, and you guys can all make these too. And again, they're kind of a flower that I'm excited to use them in an arrangement. We are now onto our Christmas arrangements, so it'll be next
We
year
are.
when I use these. But I think that there's so many different ways you could use them year after year. They're like a flower that you could keep. And also, I know this orange does not fade as much as some of the pale
Yeah.
colors.
Well, and especially since we have the marker on there, like I don't think that's
Yeah.
going to fade much.
So these are great
Yeah.
flowers to keep as little heirloom flowers.
Mhm.
All right, so tomorrow.
Wait, we do have a question really
Oh,
quick.
yes.
Laura's wondering if you experimented with putting pen pastel on the hot glue at all.
On the hot glue. No, I haven't, but I don't think it will stick very well to the hot glue because it's not porous at all.
So, but you
Um,
could do it when it's still dry. I mean, when it's wet, when it's hot. You could
Do the-
sprinkle some in.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know if I would brush it because it might smear it. But
Give it a try.
Yeah, give it a
honestly,
try.
Try.
experiment with it. I've
Hot
been
glue is
seeing-
fairly like transparent though.
I've been
so-
seeing a lot
but-
of people doing coloring hot glue with pigments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you could maybe experiment with using a sponge
Yeah.
and just gently pressing it over the
Mhm.
Yeah.
sides. Experiment.
Yeah,
Let us
definitely.
know how it works.
Yeah, and it's such a
Definitely
tricky
good.
thing. Well, because you have a very small window.
You do have such a small window because it is such a small
But you might
thin line
you
as
might work
well.
one at a time. Like
Yeah.
do one, color it, do the next one, color it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's lots of options. I really don't mind it, even looking a little bit wet because of the shine. I mean,
Yeah.
that's nature, right? Sometimes it rains
Yeah,
here in
sometimes
Portland.
it
Always.
rains.
I mean, okay.
Or always.
Hey, yeah, throw me some of those artichokes over there.
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh,
Oh, she's throwing them.
She's actually throwing them.
Sorry, Matthew. Oh my goodness, sorry. She just hit the
Yeah.
microphone.
Nobody heard it.
No, but he did.
No, everyone heard it.
Everyone heard
it. Okay, anyway, here we go, you guys. I am
Yeah.
so excited to make these. They, I don't know, Emily, you're test running. These are Krista's design, but Krista is in Nevada, so she's not able to come teach this with us, but we are going to teach it for her.
Yes.
And
Yes, I'm working on prepping this right now for our video tomorrow, and it is a little bit of a time. It takes a bit of time to get all the artichoke leaves done. I would say if you want to prep these ahead of time, you can, or you can hold off, and I can give you some tips. I've been working with Krista so that we can give you all the great tips for how to make this.
it's so cute.
Stay
It
tuned.
is so cute.
It's so soft. I love how squishy
it's
they
a
are.
squishy ball in the middle, so they're fun.
It's an artichoke stuffy. Who
It
would have
is.
thought? No, I think they look really great with the pears. I was putting them together with the pears, the apples, any sort of fall
Yeah,
fruit or
just
fall vegetable.
A nice bowl of fruit.
Artichokes. Yeah. All right. And also you could use
All
these in
veggies.
arrangement
You
too.
could.
So we will see you guys tomorrow to make these little cuties. And all right. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.